Have you ever found yourself just staring at your desk, completely paralyzed? That was me. The screen was a blank canvas, but my mind was anything but. It was a chaotic mess of deadlines, to-do lists that seemed to stretch into infinity, and this overwhelming, suffocating cloud of doubt. My coffee sat there, cold and forgotten, a perfect metaphor for my motivation. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, but they felt like they belonged to someone else. I was completely and utterly stuck. Procrastination wasn't just a bad habit. It felt like a voice in my head, a really convincing one, whispering all the reasons I was going to fail. You're not ready. You don't have what it takes. You'll just mess it up anyway, so why even start? It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? Like you're trying to run a marathon with weights tied to your ankles. You know where you need to go, but every step feels impossible. The more I thought about the mountain of work ahead, the more I just wanted to curl up and disappear. That day, staring at the chaos on my desk, I realized something. The clutter wasn't just physical. It was a mirror of my mental state. Piles of paper I hadn't filed, books I'd meant to read, pens that had run out of ink, it was all just noise. And in that noise, the important tasks, the things that truly mattered, were getting lost. The big, scary project I had to tackle felt so abstract and huge that I couldn't find a single entry point. It was like standing at the base of a sheer cliff with no climbing gear. So, in a moment of quiet desperation, I did something incredibly small. I didn't try to write the first chapter or solve the big problem. I just picked up one single, stray piece of paper. It was a receipt from weeks ago. I looked at it, then crumpled it up and tossed it into the bin. Then I picked up another one, and another. I wasn't thinking about the big project anymore. I was just clearing my physical space. With each piece of clutter I removed, something shifted. As my hand touched the actual surface of the desk, feeling the smooth grain of the wood beneath my palm for the first time in what felt like ages, it was like a tiny jolt of electricity. It was real. It was tangible. I had done something. It was a minuscule victory, sure, but it was a victory nonetheless. And in that moment, the paralyzing fog of self-doubt thinned, just a little. This tiny action created a ripple effect. Clearing that small patch of desk felt good. It felt manageable. So I thought, what if I apply this same principle to my work? Forget the entire project for a second. What's the smallest possible step I can take right now? Not writing a whole page, but just one sentence. Not designing the whole website, but just choosing a color palette. I broke the colossal task down into a series of laughably small, almost trivial micro-goals. Then I introduced a new element, a timer. I decided to try the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused work, no distractions, no phone, no social media, just me and that one tiny task. I set the timer, and suddenly, the ticking clock wasn't a source of anxiety anymore. It became a rhythm, a heartbeat for my focus. For those 25 minutes, the rest of the world and all my doubts faded away. All that mattered was that one sentence, that one color choice. When the timer went off, I took a mandatory 5-minute break. I stood up, stretched, and walked away from the desk. This was crucial. It wasn't about pushing through until exhaustion. It was about building a sustainable rhythm. During that break, I didn't let myself think about the project. I just let my mind rest. And when I came back for the next 25-minute sprint, I felt surprisingly refreshed and ready to tackle the next tiny piece of the puzzle. Slowly, almost without me noticing, these timed sprints started to build momentum. One sentence became a paragraph. A paragraph turned into a page. The small, manageable tasks began to connect, forming the foundation of the larger project. The feeling of being overwhelmed was replaced by a sense of accomplishment. I was no longer staring at a terrifying mountain. I was simply taking one step at a time on a well-marked path. Each tick of the timer was a step forward. Each completed sprint was another small victory, another piece of evidence against that nagging voice of self-doubt. What I was doing was forging new habits. It wasn't about finding a sudden burst of motivation or inspiration. Motivation is fickle. It comes and goes. Habits, on the other hand, are reliable. They are the systems you build to function even when you don't feel like it. By consistently showing up for these small, timed sessions, I was teaching my brain a new way to operate. I was creating a routine that bypassed the need for motivation. My new habit was simply to start the timer. The work would follow. The self-doubt didn't vanish overnight. It still pipes up now and then, especially when I'm starting something new and challenging. But now, I have a toolkit to deal with it. I know that the feeling of being overwhelmed is just a signal that I need to break the task down into smaller, more manageable pieces. I know that the voice of procrastination can be silenced by the simple act of starting, no matter how small. I've learned that action is the antidote to anxiety. That one simple act of clearing a single piece of paper taught me the most powerful lesson in productivity and self-belief. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to focus on what's right in front of you. Clear one thing. Write one sentence. Set a timer for 5 minutes. The momentum you build from these tiny acts of progress is more powerful than any fleeting wave of inspiration. It's the snowball effect in action, turning a single snowflake of effort into an avalanche of achievement. So if you're feeling stuck right now, staring at your own cluttered desk and overflowing doubt, I want you to try this. Don't think about the whole project. Just find the smallest, most ridiculously easy thing you can do to move forward. Clear one thing off your desk. Write one single word. Open the document. Do it for just 5 minutes. See how it feels. That small step is not insignificant. It's everything. It's the beginning of you taking back control from the fog of self-doubt. You can do this. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and consider subscribing for more content on building better habits and a more focused life. I'll see you in the next one.